Hey guys, I'm just starting this up. There we go. Right, so today we're going to play the last good EA game. The game that kind of like, it's on the other side of the bridge from the EA we know today and the EA that weren't as bad as they are today. No, I'm not putting that. I have no idea what I'll put. Oh, I know what I'll put. The perfect name for a street racer. Yeah, I've played this game so many times, so it's not like I haven't seen this screen several billion times before, but yeah, I've decided to play this because I just fancied it. I'm playing the Wii version, by the way. That's the version I have, so yeah. I don't mind the Wii version because I like the fact that you actually turn using the Wii remote. A lot of people don't like that. Right, let's see if I can skip the cutscenes because I really don't want to watch all those things. And the moment I get into this, I'm just going to go straight into the options and go and turn off EA tracks, because that's asking for a copyright infringement because it's got licensed music in it, so I don't really want that. I don't know if I can turn off the cutscenes. I honestly don't. I'm just going to have to nah, this'll do. Yeah, so yeah, this is just the beginning section. And oops, yeah, as I say, I'm using the Wii remote for this. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but it's fun to do, like, because it's just something different. And I don't think there's any other Need for Speed game besides Nitro that was released on the Wii. This was probably the only one I can think of. But yeah, I like how you can use the Wii remote to handle the car and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, this is an EA game, and I did hear bad things about what happened to this game on later versions, like on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Like, apparently they added DLC for cars, which is pretty stupid, but that's EA. What do you expect? In case you're wondering, I'm not advocating people purchase this game brand new. If you're going to purchase this game, don't buy it off Steam, don't buy it off... Get lost. Don't buy it off, like, GOG or anything like that. Buy it second hand if you want it, and get the Wii version if you ask me, because it's the most fun. Now, let's see, which car do I want? Do I want the cheap one, the one that's, well, not the cheap one because it's expensive, but what I mean by cheap is it can destroy the game. Do I want the harder one, or do I want the middle of the road one? Well, considering the fact I'm streaming, I think this would probably be the best choice. So I'm going to pick this one. And automatic, because trying to play manual with a Wii remote is not fun. I never play manual anyways. Part of the reason why I don't drive in real life is because I can't drive with gears. I can't shift gears. That's the thing that really bugs me when driving a car, so I just don't bother driving them. I could get an automatic, but I just can't be bothered. No, great, we have this shitty tutorial to do. Like I say, I've played this game so many times. Like, it's to the point that I've seen this tutorial a billion times. Now, I like to go into front view because it's just so much easier. That's why I crashed earlier, because I was in like rear view, and trying to drive in rear view is never easy. When you're driving in front view, you can like make precise corners, and it's just so much easier. But yeah, I mean, you could just sit here and do nothing if you really wanted to. But whatever, I might as well practice some driving, get back into it. But yeah, like, playing, like, I'd say when it comes to racing games, like, this is one of the better ones, but at the same time, it is an EA game, which might seem pretty... Oh, hang on, what's going on here? I have to wait for them. But yeah, like, this is probably one of the better racing games out there, if you ask me. Which is, as I say, ironic considering the fact that it's an EA game and I can't stand EA, but... Like, I wouldn't really say EA are bad developers, they're just bad publishers. Like, I mean, they're not as, like, they're terrible now, like, as developers, mainly because they don't put any effort into their games, but yeah, like, this was definitely the last good one, because, like, after this, the Need for Speed series just went downhill, like, it did. But, this game is very short, that's why I've replayed it so many times, because it's just so easy to replay and just finish, and then just, yeah. I probably won't beat it in this stream, but, like, I don't know. You can take shortcuts as well. But, yeah, like, what I want to mainly discuss in this stream is about something that I really should turn the sound down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I want to talk about something I've been doing recently, and talking about my hiatus and stuff. And I have been working on something, but what I've been doing is something that I realized that I really cannot do. Like, I wrote a 6,000 word, like, I wrote 6,000 words on, like, this topic that I wanted to do a video on, and it was like 6,000 words. And I looked at it and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do commentary over this. There's just no way I'm going to do commentary over this. Because it's just, there's too many words. And it would just kill me. So, in the end I had to scrap it. And I mentioned this on Twitter, but yeah, I was a bit bummed out really, because I just realised that it would be ridiculously stupid to actually do the video. And there's reasons for that. Like, believe me, I wouldn't cancel a project for no reason. Like, the reason why I decided not to bother is simply because when I was doing, like, when I tried to talk, it was just like, there really isn't any emotion in my voice at all when I'm talking out of the script. I mean, there's barely any in general, but, like, when I'm reading off a script, like, I just cannot, like, I cannot get emotional, like, about stuff, and because of that, like, because my voice is so, oh shit, that's a great start. Because my voice is so monotone, especially when it comes to reading off a script, like, it's more fitting for things like theory crafting and stuff, because, like, you don't really have to have a good voice to do that. You just have to be informative and stuff. But when you're doing something that I wanted to do and wanted to try out, like, I wanted to really add a bit more emotion to it. Like, I wanted to have more emotion in my voice to put emphasis on what I was saying, and I just couldn't because I was reading off a script. And yeah, it didn't end well, and I had to scrap it. Which is a shame because, like, I think that was a reasonable script. I wrote a lot of things about it, and it was pretty cool what I was left with, like, after thinking deeply about what I wanted to say, but yeah. In any case, there's no point going over that video because I don't know if it will happen in the near future. Maybe one day when maybe my voice gets better, I don't know, but until then, I'll just have to leave it as it is. But, like, I'm not sure about if I'll be doing more content, like, in the near future, because, like, I have considered, like, finishing off a review that I've been doing, but at the same time, like, it's proving to be a bit of a difficult one as this one, so I'll have to see, but it is nearly finished, so I really could finish it off. All I need to do is add images. The problem is that doing the screen caps for this game is an absolute nightmare because, let's put it this way, like, there's so much shit going on screen that when you're trying to capture a specific moment, like, it just blurs out. So I have to find an image that isn't blurry and conveys what I want to show. And that's kind of the process that I'm in at the moment. But yeah, other than that, like, I don't think there'll be much, like, if anything, coming from me in the near future. And yeah, that's mainly because, as I say, I've been busy recently, trying to deal with work and stuff, so I'll be probably back at it in the, maybe at the end of autumn or something, or maybe in, like, winter. Like, summer's definitely a no-no. Like, that will be, I'll probably have no content in summer or something, like, but I'm not sure about spring. I might be able to cope doing a bit of content here and there around spring, I'm not sure, but I'll have to see. It all depends. But yeah, this cop chase is taking a while. Usually it doesn't take this long, but maybe it's because I'm driving a tuner, that's probably why. Like, usually I can get away from them pretty quickly. No, shit. I really should turn around so that he can't, so that he loses me. Yeah, the cops are pretty stupid in this game. They are. Not as stupid as later Need for Speed games, where they just didn't bother and just made them too easy. Yeah, this is one of the hiding spots. Though it's weird how the hiding thing isn't there, but it should work. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I have to drive to the safe house, and then we can actually get racing. It's about damn time. Yeah, this game takes a little bit of a while to start, but once it gets going, so it's not all that bad. But yeah, why I like this game so much, like, is simply, well, one, because it's short, so that I can actually finish it, and then replay it, and two, because, like, compared to, like, Need for Speed Most Wanted, there isn't half as much busy work. Like, a lot of people worship that game. I have no idea why people worship that game so much, but they do. And the reason why, I guess, is mainly because, like, it had a story to it and stuff, and it's kind of like, you don't play Need for Speed games for a story. Like, you don't. It's like the BMW that you start off with at the beginning and in this game. Like, people worship that car like it's, like, they worship that car like it's a freaking god or something. Like, it's just like, it's a freaking car. It's a car that isn't really any good compared to, like, other cars you get in the game, so why the hell do people make such a big deal out of it? But yeah, like, people love that game and they just worship that game, and I just don't get it. Like, this game is just so much better to me. Now, I get why people like Most Wanted. I don't think this. It's mainly because of the pursuits. That's basically the gist of it. Like, the pursuits are a big deal, and people want to, like, experience them. But the pursuits are in this game as well. The only difference is there's no helicopters, and like the cops don't like the cops are a bit easier. They're not too hard like they are in Most Wanted. Like in Most Wanted, the cops are just relentless to the point that it's kind of more annoying than fun. Whereas in this game, the cops are a lot more fun because they're a lot more fair, and I like that. But yeah, let's do this one. And that's kind of the gist of it. I like the customization of this game as well. I like the fact that it's actually set at nighttime and stuff. Like, I mean, Underground 2 is probably my second favourite Need for Speed game, but this beats it. This is my favourite one, and the reason why is simply because I just like the racing better in this game. Now, I understand that that Underground 2 has a lot more content, and the customization in Underground 2 alongside the tuning is really great, but I just think this game is just better to racing. I just prefer the racing in it. It just feels more fast-paced as well. Maybe not right now, but because I'm driving a Mazda RX-8, but when I'm driving like a really fast car, you can really feel the speed. Now, it's not the same level as F-Zero, which is my favourite racing game, but like F-Zero GX, that is. But it's still fast enough to be fun. And I just think that the racing, like, the AI is a lot better in this game, aside from your crew member, which is shit. But aside from that, like, the enemy AI isn't really that bad. Like, I've never had that many issues with the AI. Like, the only time that I really struggle against the AI is when they're driving a Corvette, which kind of makes sense since the Corvette is like the best car in the game in a way. Even though I argue otherwise, the way the AI handle it, yeah, it pretty much is. Because if you can handle that car, then yeah, it's really fast. But like I've always preferred the Dodge Viper personally because I always like Dodge Vipers. I just do. So yeah. But at the moment, since I'm driving a tuner, which I don't usually drive in this game, I usually just drive like muscle cars or exotics usually, because they're just a lot, I just prefer them. Like, tuner cars are just a bit too slow for me in this game. Like, that's not to say that they're bad, they are good, and I have driven them before, and I just like a bit more speed, so I picked the other cars. And the way it kind of goes is that tuners are like the easiest to handle, exotics are kind of like middle of the road, and they're like hybrids between the two, and then muscle cars are like the kind of like they've got really good acceleration, so they can just, which is good in this game, because in this game, like, it's less about your top speed and more about your acceleration, because there's more corners. And I like the fact that the city has a lot more corners and a lot less straights. It makes the race, and if you notice in the Wii version, there aren't any traffic in the races, which is another reason why I recommend the Wii version, because traffic is never fun in racing games. I hate traffic in racing games. But in this game, there is no traffic to worry about, because you just, like, it's just you and the track, so it's just you and cornering, and I really like that. Granted, Need for Speed Underground 2 did the same with URL races, which I think they should bring something along those lines back to Need for Speed. Now, obviously you keep the street races, but have the track races as well, like, mix things up. I think that would be really cool. But they never brought it back, which is kind of a pain in the neck. So there are other reasons why I like this game a lot, like, compared to the others, and the biggest reason is the customization. Like, the customization in this game, like, at the moment I'm just going to stop Mazda RX-8, but the customization in this game is pretty damn good. Like, I'd say it's about on par with, well, that's the thing, it's like, in terms of vinyls, you can put as many vinyls on your car as you want. And in that sense, it's kind of on par with Midnight Club LA. And Midnight Club LA also has really good car customization, but this game I just feel is more fun to race in. Yeah, I should really just jump to safe house. It's a lot quicker than having to drive there. there are things to do in free roam, but yeah, I just can't be bothered. Let's do a sprint because it seems to be the logical thing to do in the tuner. But like the customization in this game, you can actually like customize the body parts. You can not just add body parts, but you can also edit them and like make them look a bit more unique, which is pretty cool. So it kind of has an edge in that aspect. But as I say, Midnight Club LA's customization is also really good, as you can like add interiors and stuff, which is pretty cool. At least if you're in a convertible car, then it's pretty awesome. But in this game, it's kind of like, well, there's none of that, but you get all the essentials, and you also get the ability to add some vinyls and like you get like as many vinyls as you want and auto sculpt, which to me seems like a good thing. So I like the customization of this game. It gives me everything I could possibly want out of customization in a racing game. And yeah, after this, like customization, if you ask me, kind of started to stagnate. But yeah, like, I mean, this isn't my favourite racing game, obviously. Like, this is just one of the ones that I like. I mean, my favourite one is F-Zero GX, so yeah, can you stop getting in my way, please? That would be really handy. But I do think that, like, because there are other racing games that I like as well. I like Midnight Club 3. That game is definitely on par with this. I thought of playing that as well at some point, but I wanted to play this first because this one's a lot more like chill. There's a lot less to do, and like it starts off really easy. Whereas Midnight Club 3, it's been a while since I've played that game. But yeah, Midnight Club 3 is also really fun, and I won't mind playing it, but I'll probably play it another time. Yeah, the racing is easy at this point in the game. Like, this game is just really chill for the most part. That's one of the good things about it. You never really feel like it's just too hard, and granted, a lot of people might be bothered by that, especially since it's a short game, but to me, it's not that big of a problem. Ooh, we could do a drift event. I like the drift events in this game. They're really cool, like, because they add, like, they're different from racing, but they add a different, like, type of challenge to it, and they're just more fun than, like, drag events, which you had in Most Wanted. And that's another reason why I prefer this over Most Wanted, because Most Wanted had the pointless drag events, and drag events are just shit. Like, I know that people like drag events, but I just think that they're a load of shit, because, like, all it is like glorified car frogger. I mean, it doesn't help that I don't like using, like, manual transmission, I guess, but all it is just car frogger, where, like, you have to, like, watch what's going on the road, make sure there's no traffic or anything to smash into, at the same time as constantly changing gears fast. And that's kind of the gist of it, and I just think that's just annoying, personally. But yeah, tuners are really easy to drift with in comparison to other cars. But yeah, I just love the drifts in this game. Like, I mean, they're also really good in other Need for Speed games. I don't mind the drifts in Need for Speed Underground and Underground 2, but I also like them in this. Like, drift mode is, like, that's another thing. Like, since when was the last time we had a drift mode in a Need for Speed game? Like, I don't know. Like, it seems like they've just dropped it for some reason. Like, which is kind of sad, because I know I know I'm not the only person who likes drifting. Like, a lot of people do, and to a lot of people it's like an extra layer to the game that just gives it so much more depth. And that's just what makes it, like, a valuable addition. So yeah, it's exhilarating to hit a corner and like at high speeds. Why is this not a thing anymore? Like, yeah, sure, this is definitely not realistic. You wouldn't be able to do this in real life, like drive like a maniac around corners. I mean, obviously it is possible to drift in real life, but like, I mean, come on, Ken Block exists, so. But like, not at these speeds. You would have to slow down a little. And it has this like risk-reward aspect to it, which just makes it all the more fun. Whereas racing is kind of like, it's just getting to the finish and it's standard stuff, whereas this just breaks it up a little bit. So, I just find it really fun. Whoops, that went well. Yeah, so much for my concentration. And when I'm streaming, yeah, I'm gonna fuck up at some point. So I need some more speed to get around this one. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty easy, these drifts, compared to later drifts. I mean, like, I got like 90k and they only got like 30 odd. So that's a big difference, pretty much. But yeah, I also like how you do have free roam, even though I will admit there isn't so much to do in free roam, but at least it's there, you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, I don't really do much free roam, but it's there, and it's not the biggest city in the world, but it's there. I mean, I do prefer the city in Underground 2 personally, like Bayview, because that city is like, that city looks really awesome look-wise, but when it comes to driving, like racing through the city, like, I think this city's really good to race in because there's so many corners and curves and stuff, which I think is pretty good. So, like, you have to, it tests your skill of cornering rather than just, like, avoid traffic, which is kind of what most like, Need for Speed games are, let's be honest, for the most part. Of course, there are corners involved, but, yeah. Now I've got a traffic cone blocking the way. And it still has the police from Need for Speed Most Wanted, so they're still there, they're not gone anywhere, and they're still the same type of police. Granted, they are more or less copy-paste. I'm not going to deny that, but yeah. I mean, I don't think Most Wanted is the worst game ever, but I do think it's a bit overrated. Like, it has its share of problems, let's put it that way. And I think Underground 2 was better than that game. Like, the customization in Most Wanted was just pitiful. Like, they stripped everything away. Like, they stripped everything down from Underground 2's customization. And it was just like, now you can only have one vinyl, and you can only have, like, a pre-made body kit. You can't actually have, like, different bumpers and stuff, which was kind of annoying, like, how they forced you to use a specific body kit. Like, I mean, yeah, you could change different body kits, but you couldn't, like, you only could use a body kit, like, you couldn't actually have different body parts, which was annoying. And they also removed a lot of other stuff, but this game brought some of it back, which I'm glad to see, and you have limitless finals in this game, and auto-sculpts, which I think is a good thing. So, I think that this game is just a lot better, and it has the drift events as well, which makes it even better. I just think that the AI is just a lot more fair in this game. I mean, I understand people who would say that Underground 2 is better than this game in their opinion, but the AI in this game, the AI in Underground 2 is frustrating, and that's kind of the problem. Whereas in this game, I don't think that the AI is too frustrating. They're kind of like, they're a lot more fair. This game is fair, but it can still be challenging, especially the final race in this game. Like, the final race in this game is definitely the hardest out of, like, all three, like Carbon, Most Wanted, and Underground 2. Definitely. But yeah, and comparing this to any of the more modern games, well, it's a joke. This game just destroys it. I think this game's received a lot more love from people now that the more modern games are out. Like, people are like, oh, Tavern wasn't as bad as we thought it was. Like, people at first were like, this game sucks because it's like so, like, it's basically not Most Wanted. You know how people get when it comes to like nostalgia for games and they want the same game that they played before and stuff. So I think this game was still really fun, even though it had its shortcomings. I mean, yeah, it's short, but it's fun enough to replay, and it's also pretty easy at times. It's like you have the canyons, which are really fun. I really like the canyons. Like, they add a lot more excitement to the racing, because it's all more like cornering and stuff, which I think is a lot more fun. Hey, how's it going? 09C's, yes. I'm playing a game from a company that I can't stand. Back when they used to not make shitty games. And, well, I'm not sure about the publishing. I think, like, in the later versions of this, they did add DLC for cars, which is stupid, but that's EA for you. But I think the Wii version, considering the fact that I got it second hand, like, I don't think that EA is going to benefit from that. But yeah, this is, despite all of EA's problems and the fact that they're a bunch of cunts, I think this game itself isn't a bad game per se. Like, I think that Black Box did a good job on this game, but EA published it, unfortunately, and they've got rid of Black Box now, which says a lot. Like, they get rid of all their development teams. But yeah, like, this is the best game in the series, if you ask me. Not my favourite racing game, no, but it's the best game in the series. And I just felt like in my opinion at least, and I just felt like streaming it because it's just an easygoing game. And yeah, as I say, the Wii version requires you to like turn using the Wii remote, which makes it more interesting than just like using the controller. That's why you see that little wheel at the bottom of the screen. That's like me turning the Wii remote and stuff, so you can see exactly what I'm doing, like with my hand movements, which I personally enjoy that better. I think it's more fun when you have to like steer it. But yeah, I definitely recommend, if you're gonna get the Wii version, then, which I recommend also getting it second hand as well if you do, that you use first person perspective, because it's just so much easier than going into third person perspective, because like you can turn quicker and stuff, and yeah, I just prefer that. And yeah, this is done, this race. Right, so I think we got another territory, I'm not sure. Oh no, I think someone else took it over. Oh, what's going on here? Another movie I'm gonna have to skip. Yep. No one cares. No one cares about the story of these games. Well, apparently people do. Screw it, I'll just hire him, and might as well make him as active because he's actually pretty decent. But yeah. So, in case you didn't know, there was a video that I was gonna do, but I've decided not to do it because of reasons, and that's just basically, I'm just basically doing this stream to update people on that. So yeah, that's, well, it's not all the reasons why I'm being inactive, but let's put it this way, like, I haven't really been working on anything else, so yeah, there's probably going to be like nothing for a while, which is a bit of a shame, but that's just going to be how it's going to have to be. But I am thinking of doing something, like, I've been working on something else. I've just started working on something else, like finishing something off, but it's proving to be a pain to finish that off. So yeah, I'm going to have to see about that one, but other than that, like, I've mainly been on a hiatus, and that's why, if you've been seeing, like, you haven't seen much content from me recently, because I haven't really been making much. And also, another thing I want to bring up as well is that the YouTube videos that I do, like, YouTube isn't really my main gig. Like, it never will be. So if you're watching for just the YouTube videos, then you're not going to see many uploads aside from maybe streams, and that's kind of just a bit. Like, I like to do my theory crafting videos and my streams on the YouTube, and everything else I do on my vlog, so it's just, I just prefer to do it that way. And this recent video has kind of like shown that to me, that I'm really not a video creator. Like, videos are just a bit of fun that I do every now and again, and just fun to chat with people and stuff, but really, like, it's just not really my sort of thing. Whereas, like, doing writing is my sort of thing, and that's why I prefer to do writing and stuff. So with that video, it was just like, I had a really good script written down for it, but I just really couldn't properly vocalize it, and that's where the problems came in. Like, it just didn't come out as I wanted it to, and it just ended up being not worth the hassle, so I just dropped it. So the reason why you're not seeing much content on my YouTube channel is for that reason, really, because my blog is really where the bulk of my content is, and really YouTube's just an extension to that, pretty much. Yeah, the blog is, there is a link on my channel page. There's a link to it. It should be on my about section. It's right there, and like on the about section it just says website, and it says cynicalgamingblog.wordpress.com. That's the blog site. I mean, that's been inactive as well, but I might as well just link it here. It shouldn't be too hard to link. Hopefully that hasn't ruined the stream, because I've just touched the capture card. I'll have to keep watching the stream. It seems to be working, so yeah. Hopefully I'll just have to test the audio. It seems to be working. Yes, it's working. Yeah, I accidentally nudged the capture card, so I had to test to see if it was working, because every time I nudge the capture card, it just screws up. But yeah, like, I've been playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night recently. I just finished it, and yeah, that game is a pretty cool game. Like, I would have streamed it, but like, I just finished it. I'm not going to stream a game that I just finished, but I had a lot of fun playing that game. And I've also been playing other games as well, but like, I've been trying to finish Red Dead Redemption as well, so that's kind of what I've been up to recently in my spare time. So it's like, I haven't really had much time to work on anything recently, as I say, but I have been gathering some screen caps for a review that I've been doing, and it's just been a bit of a pain, because, and I don't think, even, like, I'm not really sure that the review, like, when it's done, will be, like, perfect, because, like, the screenshots that I've got for this so far look absolutely, like, they're just blurry as shit, so I have to go and try and find better ones that will be, like, more fitting for it. Until then, I'm going to have to keep that review unfinished. But I do want to get back to doing some reviews and stuff and writing. Like, I will admit that I did get a little bit burnt out after my last review, which was Shadow Warrior. Like, that review really burned me out a little bit from game reviews. And the reason being was because the game was so freaking tedious to get through. Like, I wasn't having fun playing that game at all. Like, I wanted to, but I just couldn't. And it's just one of those games where you just want to like it, but you just can't like it because of its problems and because of how annoying it is to get through it. And then you're trying to like figure out why, and that's usually the greatest challenge when you've got to review a game and you want to like it but you can't, and you have to figure out why. And it's just like, it's kind of torturous to go through such a review. It's different when you playing a game that you really don't care about, and then you like don't like it, and then you just figure it out like why you don't like it. But when you actually want to like a game, like you play a game and you're like, I want this to be good, and it isn't good, it's just, you just really can't bring yourself to criticize it, but you have to. And that's the thing, and like that just done me out a lot after doing that. And that's kind of the reason why I just, well, it's not the whole reason, but it was the last review that I had to do, and I had to do it because I promised someone that I would review the game, so I had to get through it, I had to finish it, and I did, but it just wasn't really the fun experience reviewing that game. But like, I do want to get back into it. I want to get back into like my reviews again at some point. Not sure about the near future, but maybe later down the line I might get on with it. Like, I do want to get back to it, so later down the line, yeah, I probably will be making some more reviews. I'm not sure which ones to do yet, but I have a few ideas. Yeah, I wanted to take that shortcut, buddy, and you're getting in the way. So that's kind of the gist of what's been going on my website recently. But as I said, there are already reviews on there and content on there to read, so it's not like there's nothing there. But so far it's kind of like I'm trying to, like, really I'm always thinking about what sort of content I want to do and all that lot, and if I can realistically do it and stuff. So I'm always thinking, it's just the fact that, like, I try to do certain things and they don't work out, and then I realise, oh wait, I have to screen cap for all this stuff. So in a way, there's a lot of things that I've written down on my blogs that I've had to cancel just simply because, like, the screen capping, like, I just can't finish screen capping it all because I don't even know where to start with the screen caps. I don't know what to do with recordings. It's like I used to write like kind of like articles, just regular articles, and it was just like about the usual stuff. It was similar to theory crafting, I guess, but it was about just me talking about a topic. But I stopped doing it because, like, I just didn't know how to get the screenshots. Like, it's either I do it illegally on Google and someone hits me with a £15,000 fine, or like I have to grab it myself and claim fair use. It's like when you've got like a topic that is very general, you can't really like have, and this is why part of the reason why I decided to do YouTube for theory crafting. It's like you can't really, it's difficult to find images for it. Let's put it that way. Ooh, drift. I like drifts, so I'm going to do this. And because you don't really know what you're looking for. But yeah, really it's just first world problems. That's all I'm really talking about at the moment. But yeah, I need to be honest about these things so that people can understand where things are going. But yeah, that's kind of the gist about it. But as I say, it's not too big of a deal. I just do what I can at the end of the day. And the whole point is just that I have fun doing it. That's the whole point. So really, I try not to pressure myself too much to get stuff released, especially at this time of year. But like, I do want to do more content, and it's come to the point that I really do, but at the same time it's also come to the point where, like, I really don't want to review games that I'm playing at the current moment. I want to rather, like, that's what I did with Shadow Warrior. I just finished playing it, and the moment I finished playing it, I had to review it, and that's kind of how I felt. I really need to get away from that mindset, because it's just not fun for me to do it that way. What I need to really do is actually do my reviews of games that I've already played before. It's like I've already done a review of this game, and like I've played this game so many times, so it's like the review was fun because I knew exactly what I had to say about this game. I mean, it's a bit dated now, like, I mean, it is a really old review. Like, I've noticed the difference between my old reviews and my new reviews. It's like, some of my old reviews, looking back at them, are just absolute trash compared to the newer ones that I did. And yeah, I've definitely noticed a difference in the reviews that I've done, like, from, like, Destructoid era to vlogging era, pretty much. Like, there's a big difference. So I do want to keep going, but it's just like I've set such a high standard for myself now, and I want to keep that standard. And it's like, it used to be the point where I used to be writing stuff like almost every single day, like at one point, and now it's kind of got to the point where it's just like I only write things when I can get things finished. And it's kind of weird, because it's like when you actually put work into things, it takes time to do them. But when you just slap things together, you can just get things done very quickly. Like, but the question is really, like, is there really any value in screenshots? I mean, when I was on Destructoid, it was a big thing. Like, you had to have screenshots on Destructoid. Like, it was like a standard. If you didn't follow that standard, you would not get, like, people would not want to read your stuff. So it was a learning curve for me writing on there, but I think it paid off a lot. And yeah, I definitely don't regret doing writing on Destructoid, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was kind of just a, like, the community just wasn't, they just really wanted me gone, pretty much. They just had enough of me and my controversial opinions on games and stuff. You know, like, you know how it gets when you go on these big major websites and stuff, and you get all kinds of people from all kinds of different, like, they all have different wants for games and stuff. Like, I made a video on that at one point where I talked about, like, people's need, like, what people want in games is different, and how we have such a split up consumer base. Like, I have done gameplay videos. Like, I did a gameplay video for this game as well. That's one thing I definitely did do. But on Destructoid, that wasn't enough. Like, I tried that, and people weren't having that. I think it's just the habits that I've got from Destructoid, but I consider those to be good habits, because at the end of the day, it just made my writing better at the end of the day. But so I don't really want. I want to put the effort in. I don't want to just slap together, you know what I mean? So I do like to do the screenshots. It's just a lot more work than it might seem, and a lot of people, like, they just get these screenshots from, like, Google Images and stuff, and it's just like, I can't really do that. And to be honest, I don't really want to do that. Like, I want to personalize. I want to get that perfect screenshot out, like, on it, and usually finding that perfect screenshot isn't easy. And that's the thing that usually takes the time. But sometimes it's the other way around. Like, sometimes it's actually the review is difficult. Like, I've had some pretty challenging games to write about recently, and like, Nier Automata and Shadow Warrior were definitely hard to write about, because, like, it's just so complicated as to what I have to say. I had to really think about what I said about those games. Like, I couldn't just, like, it wasn't just as simple as, like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to say, and let's just write it down. I actually had to think, what do I actually say about these games? And it was a challenge. And I mean, I like a good challenge, but it definitely was, and it took a while to get those out for that reason as well. And that's one of the reasons why I had a bit of a struggle at that point. Yeah, like that's the whole idea. Like I think that it's important to have some visual stuff. Like that's why I do it. You see, because I think it's important for people to see what the game looks like. Like if I look at a review, the thing that I want to see what the game looks like. If you just write it down, it doesn't tell me anything. I want to actually see the game being, like, I just want to see some, like, visual representation of the game. Like, I just do. Like, I also like to see gameplay footage. That's the reason why I watch videos. And, like, I really need to go back to actually adding, like, actual gameplay videos to the reviews. I considered doing it for the one that I'm doing as well. So maybe I should go back to that. It's just that, like, I've been so obsessive with images that I've completely forgotten to, like, follow my own rule. Which is funny. It's just like, oh, I want to put this image here, I want to put this image here, and then it's just like, wait, what am I doing? Why? I've completely forgotten to put gameplay footage here. But yeah, it's definitely something that can be done. I can definitely put videos up as well. Like, that's something that I have done before, but like, I just need to remember to do it this time instead of, like, getting so obsessive over, like, oh, let's just put this there, and it's just like, you get it so perfect, you get it nailed down, and you're just like, yeah, let's just stick with this, and then you just figure, oh wait, there's actually something else that I really should have done, and I didn't do it. But you don't think of that because you just look at it and you're just like, yeah, this looks as good as it's gonna get visual-wise, because it's got the right image in the right spot. And when you get that perfect image, it's just so satisfying. And it's just like, it's come to the point where I just think, if I'm going to do a gameplay video, then I'm going to do it if I can't put anything else in. That's kind of been my attitude. It's just been like, well, if I can't find a place to put my, like, find a place to put my, like, images, like, if there's no more images to place down, then I'll just have to, like, well, barely stop this car. Then I'll just have to put a gameplay video, and that's kind of how I've looked at it. Like, I put a lot of videos on for my Need for Speed Carbon review, like, a lot of videos. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm doing really well at this. But yeah, I did do the video one, and I just need to go back to that. I think that's kind of the gist. It's just that I completely forgot to do it in my recent reviews. It's like, mainly because, like, I was so caught up in, like, screen capping and stuff that I just forgot to do the videos itself. Like, because it's come to the point where I've just become completely religious about screen capping, because I know it's something that I have to do. I don't really particularly enjoy it, but I try to make the most out of it. And when I do, because of that, it's just like, I just get so religious over it. It's just like, it has to be perfect, and as such, I just record, like, what I do is I literally have to record games for, like, ages. I have to do, like, I have to record the game on the capture card already to get, like, screenshots. And, oh god, this car isn't what I thought it was. Maybe it's just because I'm terrible at handling it, but yeah, it's starting to get a bit heavy. This is a really good place to drift, is this one. But yeah, that's one thing that I have done in some of my reviews. There's only one downside to that, and that's what happens if YouTube disappears. Pretty much. Like, I'd have to, like, that's the thing, because the website is kind of my main thing, but I've always been thinking in the back of my head, what would I do if YouTube were to disappear? Because, like, I do have a lot of video content on that site, so I think what I'd have to do is download the video, but I can't put the videos on the site. You need to pay to do that. So, yeah, you need to pay a monthly fee just to actually put videos on the site that aren't YouTube links. So that's a big deal. Not sure I'll be able to beat this guy. I can try, like, this is a stock tuner that I'm driving here, so yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I do with, that's what I do with my last theory crafting video, just stitch multiple segments together. But I think when it comes to video, like, another purpose of images as well is to break up paragraphs.
I don't think you do.
And that's another thing that I need to consider as well. Like, if I just put a video in and it's edited, that's all well and good, but the priority for me is to get those paragraphs broken up. I need something to put in between those paragraphs. So, while having video footage is always handy, like, I'm not sure I'll be doing it for every single one, but I will definitely try and get back into actually adding video to it. I'm gonna think about getting some gameplay footage together for this next review. Definitely. But as I say, like, it depends. Like, some reviews I've done it for, some reviews I haven't. Let's put it that way, and I'm gonna try and get back to doing it for this one. But like, I might not always do it. Let's put it that way. It depends on the moment, I guess. Alright, see ya. And take care of it. Try not to get too bored at work. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of what I've been dealing with as well in my videos. I mean, my vlog. It's kind of the gist of it. So, really, I do want to keep doing the screen caps and stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to get rid of those. But I do want to, like, I want to, as I say, think about doing the video for this next one. But for later ones, it depends. Like, the whole idea of doing videos, it just depends on the game itself and the situation, really. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, look at that for a pass. Just got to remember to do that on the second lap. Alright. So you got a more fun job then. That's cool. But yeah. Alright, see ya. Yeah, just gotta be careful here, because this guy can pass me easily. Right, there we go. See if I can keep this up. Yeah, when you're racing against Kenji, you want to take that little turn there. You don't want to take the main turn, because you will guarantee that he will take that turn, and if you take the long way around, he will pass you. Guaranteed. Yeah, if I do the review that I'm trying to do, then I'm going to have to think of another game to review later down the line. But I do want to finish the review, and it needs to be finished at some point. It does. Like, I can't just keep it, like, unfinished forever. It's just going to be a pain in the neck to do, so when it happens, I can't promise when it's going to happen. All I can do is say that it's going to be up at some point. It just needs the right images at the end of the day. That's kind of what it's all about. I just need to screen cap some good images for it that aren't blurry. Hey, how's it going, Killer 151? Oh, we're in a canyon race now. This one should be more fun. Yeah, I get it. I know how to race in a canyon. simple. Why can't I skip this tutorial?
You lose. Oh yeah. If either car gets past or falls off the cliff, the race is over. And keep in mind that the only way to win a canyon duel is to make it to the bottom of the run.
Right. Thank you, finally. Now I can actually race. Right, let's see if I can beat this guy in a stock Mazda. This might be a bit tough, but I did beat the street race with him, so it shouldn't be too hard. Man. This is just me doing it live, so whatever happens, happens, so you get to see. Will I pass him? Ooh, passed him, nice. Oh, he's got past me now. Oh, I passed him again. Oh, now he's taking my points away from me. Cheeky bugger. Yeah, that was close. It was close, but yeah, it wasn't enough. Yeah, I hate the whole collision, they get points from you. I thought that was kind of annoying, to be honest. Ooh, I might pass him still. I'll just make that corner quickly. Just block him a little bit. Then I've got him. Yeah, there we go. And he was in a fully customized RX-7. And he got overtaken so easily. I guess the AI in this game isn't always isn't the brightest of AI. But oh well. Yeah, he's one of the easier ones as well. Like the harder ones, like the hardest one is the one in the muscle one. Let's see if I get his car. Oh, straight away got his car. Wonderful. His car's not that bad actually. And get out of jail for free. That might be handy. Right. Might as well get my new car now. Oh, wait, I have to get this bitch first.
I've had it with Kenji. He'd be nothing if it wasn't for me. I just want someone who drives fast and smart. If you want one more,
But yeah.
I'm staying at the plaza.
I don't know about you, but I personally think that this is the best Need for Speed game. Like, I know that a lot of people like Most Wanted and stuff, but I think this game is I think this game is better. Mainly because the customization and shit is just a lot more, there's just a lot more of it. Okay, let me skip this. Yeah, I'm gonna skip all the cutscenes because, like, EA are weird with these cutscenes. They are, like, they get pissed off when you use their cutscenes, so, yeah. Now I just need to do the others, but yeah, I should be able to go back in there. There we go. Right, so I'm probably going to go for against the exotics. Since I've got this car, I'd say exotic class is probably the best for me to go after because they're easier. So I'll definitely go against this one. Just a lot easier than going for like Angie because she's a bit of a bitch to deal with. Right, there we go. So yeah, it's a lot faster now, so... But, this is... The RX-7 isn't bad, it's decent tuner. I think it's probably... Performance-wise, it's the best tier 2 tuner in my book. but in terms of like look-wise, I've always found the RX-7 to look ugly personally. Like it's just like it looks like a Toyota Corolla, and it looks like a Toyota Corolla a bit, and a Nissan 240SX, which I'm not too keen on the headlights at all. Like when it comes to headlights, I like to have it like on the front, not on the bonnet, and not have them like pop out. I just don't like. I just think that looks ugly personally, but whatever. Like I guess whatever floats your boat. I just think this car just looks pretty ugly, but it does well enough, I guess. Like I'd say the best tier 2 car would probably be the one that you get from but not this boss, but the muscle boss, the Dodge Charger RT. That is a really awesome car. I like that car a lot. It's a bit slippery, but it's just really fun to drive. Well, at least this car has a bit more speed on it. That's one thing for certain. And it has nitrous if I need it. I will say though, like, crew members are a pain to deal with when you turn on their scout. Like, their AI becomes near impossible. It's just like you're trying to race against their, like, ridiculous AI that just constantly manages to stay in front of you. Hey, how's it going, Andre? Oh, crap. Knocked me into the bloody wall. Yeah, the crew members are just a bit of a pain in this one. That's what I will say about this game. The crew members are a bit of a pain to deal with. Like, sometimes they can be handy, but usually they just get in the way and just like, can you just please just let me pass you so I don't have to crash into you all the time. This is the RX-7 I got from, what's his name? Kenji. I just won it. So, now I've just started the exotic class now. And yeah, I'm playing on the Wii, so I'm using automatic transmission, so yeah, I'm not really the best at this game, but I still have a lot of fun playing it. Oh, like, I thought it was me that took over that territory.
So, how long did it take you to spend all that money?
I don't know what car you guys like driving at this point. Like, usually I like to drive the Dodge Charger RT. Usually, that's usually the car I go for in this game at this point, but like, I don't know what you guys drive. Like, I tend to just wait to buy cars until tier 3 personally. That's usually how I like to do it. But I did get this car for free, so I just thought, fuck it, I'll just stick with this car. Oh, checkpoints are boring, so I'll just do a sprint. That'll be more fun. I'm not the best at drifting, but I still think drifting is really fun. Like, I think it's one of the more fun modes in Need for Speed games. Like, it's crazy how we haven't really seen, like in a lot of the more recent Need for Speed games, like there hasn't been a drift mode at all, which is kind of weird. Like, drift modes are one of the more fun parts of Need for Speed games, if you ask me. Like, because they just add an extra layer to the game, and it's just like, it's got that risk-reward element that just keeps you like on your toes the whole time. And it's also got like, it's got that meta element to it, in the sense that you want to beat your high score and stuff, so it's just a lot of fun. It's something that I think we need to see more of that in racing games. Like, Underground 2 has pretty good drifting as well, though. I will say, though, the drifts that you had to do in Jackson Heights were a pain in the ass, because you had to drift around traffic. That was really annoying. Like, I really did like the drifts though. I thought it was cool that how you had all of the other cars on the track with you. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, I'll turn that off so I might be able to pass him. Otherwise the AI is just gonna like zip past me every single time so that they can show me the shortcuts. I don't really need to know where the shortcuts are. I've played this game long enough to know that I know all the shortcuts, so it's like there's one coming up right here, so I don't need you. But yeah, Underground 2 is definitely up there as well. It's one of the better Need for Speed games, definitely. I think Need for Speed, the best thing about Underground 2 for me is the tuning. The tuning in that game is, like, it's on point. The thing I like about Underground 2 as well is it takes everything good about a racing sim and, like, an arcade racer and just combines them together. It's what Grid should have been, pretty much. Like, Grid tries to be like an arcade racing sim, like, but really, like, to me, it's just an annoying game. I didn't enjoy Grid at all. But Underground 2 is kind of what Grid should have been to me. It should have been, like, it should have been all about, like, having the tuning and having the, like, track races and stuff, like the URLs. I really like those as well. I did find, the only thing that I found annoying about Underground 2 was the AI. Like, the AI was a bit frustrating for me, considering the fact that if you screw up in Underground 2, the AI will just zip past you, and it's nearly impossible to, like, catch up. Especially in Street X. Like, Street X was a pain in the neck. Like, that was probably the hardest for me, was Street X. Like, and drag races. I've never been good at drag races. I am terrible at them. Mainly because I'm terrible at manual transmission. But drift races are more my sort of thing. I like those more. I just think they're just so much more fun than drag races. Like, that's one of the things, like, Most Wanted, for me, I don't think it's a bad game. I think it can be enjoyable, but I just think it's a bit overrated because they removed so much from Underground 2. Like, Underground 2 had so much content, like, so much customization, and also, like, the drift events and stuff, like, whereas Most Wanted removed, like, most of the customization. You could only have one vinyl on your car, and stuff like that. You didn't have any, like, the tuning was, like, not as good. Granted, the tuning in this game isn't much better. It's not much better than Most Wanted, to be honest, but, like, they stripped it down. And yeah, that was the thing. I mean, to me, like, I like Underground 2's drifting, like, the actual drifting itself, and this game's drifting. I think this game's drifting is a bit different, but I like how you have, like, I like how the multipliers work in this game. In Underground, it's kind of like, you have to, like, get, like, a high score, and it will automatically multiply it with the high score. And this one, it's kind of like you want to, like, do, like, a clean drift and then chain drift. Like, it's all about chaining your drifts in this game. That's kind of what it's all about. And whereas Underground is more about getting, like, a really, like, long drift where you get a lot of points in one go, and then it carries over the multiplier. And I think that's kind of cool as well. I like Underground 1. If you ask me, Underground 1 has some pretty good drifts. Like, that game, like, I like the fact that there's no one else on the track to like disturb you when you're drifting. That's kind of the one thing that did bug me in Underground 2. Just not really in the regular drifts, but in Jackson Heights, yeah, that was kind of annoying. But yeah, I do think that the drifting is fun in both those games as well. But I do like it in this as well, because I just like how chain drifting gives you multipliers. What I want to do is get rid of Sal, because he's just too good, to the point that he's just showing me up. So I'm just going to get shut of him. I'll set him as active instead. Just a little bit. Like, that way I have a bit more of a chance to actually win the race. Because, like, the AI and, like, the crew member AI races are just too good. Like, they can just do crazy shit. It's like, I've literally been... I was driving a Murcielago and I was, like, at 200 kilometers an hour. Not 200 kilometers, 200 miles per hour. And, like, I had Yumi in a freaking Subaru, like, still ahead of me, even though I was going at, like, 200 miles per hour, and I'm like, how can the Subaru hit that speed? Like, you have, like, I guess if you, like, tune fully top speed, but that's just crazy shit. It really is. But yeah, as you can see, Neville's just in last place, so it just adds more challenge to it, and just makes the races a bit more fun than just, like, simply crew member wins it for you. That's the one thing about it, like, blockers are cheap because they can just block other races, but, like, scouts are actually the cheapest because they just win the race for you, really, when you think about it. So yeah, I'd just rather use a blocker and just have them not bother using the blocking skill, so yeah. That way I actually have to race. And I think that's one of the criticisms this game got, in the sense that, like, a lot of the races, the crew members just doing a lot of the hard work for you and just taking all the credit. Which, like, but I will say, like, that's one of the bigger challenges in this game, actually. Like, beating the crew members is actually harder than beating the actual other races. Yeah, might have some cop action coming up. But yeah, like, Underground 2 is definitely fun. Like, I definitely see why a lot of people like that game, because it did have a the selection of cars wasn't as big as this game, but it did have a lot of cars, and, like, I think in terms of personalization, it was really, like, one of the better games, definitely. Although this game's still got a lot of customization, it still does. It's like, that's why I like this game the most. That's why this game is my favorite, because it's got the best of both worlds. It's got easygoing racing mechanics and AI, and it's got the police chases, but it's also got good customization, and that's why I like it. It might be a short game. It might be a bit easy at times, but I just think it's got more replay value because of it. Like, every time you play through this game, you just feel that it's just getting it's just never boring to me, because, like, especially on the Wii version, because you're actually having to steer the car with, like, the actual Wii remote, which I think is, a lot of people don't like that, but I actually like it because it just feels more like, it's like your actual hand movements are actually more connected to what you're actually doing in the race. And yeah, I just think that's just so much more cool. And I also like how you have so much more, like, it just feels like you have more freedom. Like, with an analog stick, you just slam it to the left or the right. But with this, it's kind of like you do, like, tiny little turns with it, like, but then you do big turns when you have to do, like, a big corner like this, for example. And I just like that aspect to it. Whereas when you have an analog stick, you're just gonna, like slam it to the left or the right, usually. And that's kind of why I like this version. I don't know why they never released, like, they released Nitro, I think, on the Wii, and that's about it. Like, I just guess, I think it would have been nice if they let you use the classic controller or GameCube controller for this. Just for the option, I suppose, because I do see how people can be turned off by the lack of conventional controls, but I personally really like it. It's something that grows on you. Like, at first you think, oh great, I have to race like this, but then eventually you're just like, actually I like this, because it's just so much more fun to race like this. It just feels more believable when you're actually, like, when it feels like you're controlling a steering wheel. I mean, yeah, you can, like, get a steering wheel and plug it into your, like, PS2, but the thing about it is that I find that those steering wheels feel a bit too heavy, personally, and yeah, like, I remember I did have one at one point, but I barely ever used it, but this just feels, it's comfortable enough for me, and it just adds, like, it just makes it more fun. And yeah, the cop chases are more or less copy-pasted from Most Wanted, but I don't think that's a big issue because the cop chases in Most Wanted were good enough anyways. I mean, yeah, they removed the helicopters, but that's not a big deal. Like, for me, when it comes to the better Need for Speed games, I'd say Carbon is my favourite, then Underground 2, then Most Wanted, and then Underground 1. Based on from what I've played. Like, the earliest one I've played is Underground 1, so I haven't played that many Need for Speed games. I mean, in terms of, like, street racing games, it's difficult between, like, Midnight Club 3 and this game, because Midnight Club 3 is one of the better ones in my book. Like, I really like Midnight Club 3 a lot. But I'm not really sure which one would win that. Like, Midnight Club 3 and this are both tied as #1 for me, because, like, Midnight Club 3 has more content than this game, that's one thing for certain, and it has a lot of cars as well, which is really cool too. But I really do like this game for its customization and the fact that it has drift events. But Midnight Club 3 is more arcade. It feels more like a traditional arcade racer with its physics than this game. This game has kind of like more like, it feels more realistic, even though it's not. It's just got that more realistic feel to it, whereas Midnight Club has that more arcade-like feel to it in terms of the physics. It's like in this game, when you're drifting, you can really feel the drift. In Midnight Club, it's just kind of like very artificial, but that doesn't make it any less fun. Like, the racing in Midnight Club is still really fun and pretty chaotic as well. So yeah, it's between those two, and like, I really want them to bring Midnight Club back. Like, honestly, I mean, I think Need for Speed has pretty much been buried by EA at this point. There's no you can't save the series. It's a dead series now. Like, the series is just gone because EA wanted to turn it into a live service. So maybe if Rockstar were to bring back like Midnight Club and make it like a proper old school style street racing game, then that would be really cool. The reason why I say street racing is because it's not really my favourite racing games, really. Like, my favourite racing game would be F-Zero GX, but in terms of street racing games, those two are probably the better of the two in my book. Yeah, I really need to be more aggressive here, because at the moment I'm just cruising along and trying to chat with you guys, but yeah, really I should be like playing more aggressive and just slamming into these suit breakers and getting these cops off me as well. So I really don't need these cops around. Oh, great, roadblock. I like to get them on the edge, like that. Like, that's one of the fun things about the police chases in this game, the fact that the roadblocks are just so fun to smash into. I mean, it's not realistic, but it's cool, you gotta admit that. Like, realism isn't everything. Like, I like games to feel believable, but when it comes to, like, realistic, like, I don't care, like, I want it to be fun, not realistic. Like, I want to feel like I can do crazy shit, because that's what I want to do in games. I want to do crazy shit. Like, I don't want to just like have to brake like 30 seconds in advance for a really sharp turn, like in games like Forza and stuff. That's just not my sort of thing, personally. But I want to just like zip around corners at like high speeds, like, and that's what this game lets you do. Ooh, drift. This one will be fun. But it's canyon drift, so it'll be a bit difficult. We'll see how well this car drifts though. I don't know if I've actually drifted in this car before, to be honest. Right, here we go. Oh, yeah, this car seems to have... I don't know, it might be tuned to like frontal braking. Seems to be. Yeah, they need to bring Underground 2's tuning back. That was really good. And that's one thing that needs to come back from Underground 2. The tuning was really good in that game. Ooh, ooh! I barely managed that one. This one's a sharp one. It's kind of like you can sneak around in this game to get the extra multipliers. Whereas in Underground 2 you technically can't. I guess that makes it feel a bit more real, but... I do really still like the whole idea that you can add multipliers on like by sneaking around. But yeah, I get why you like Underground 2's drifting a lot more, because it feels more real in the sense that it's just all about making that really cool single drift. But I still think the drifting in this game is also really fun too. It's just a bit different. Whoops, that went well. Really need to stop taking these risks. They're not paying off. Oops, don't want to fall off the edge. That definitely didn't pay off. I need some more speed. Let's get the nicest one. There we go. That went well. I shouldn't have really gone fast on that corner. Oh well. It doesn't look like my competition's doing much here. So I can sort of like sneak about in this bit. Oh great. Yeah, this is going really well, this. Definitely not my finest drift, this. Yeah, it's a bit awkward as this one. Granted, this is in a different car to what I was in before. But we still won it. And really, that's all that matters. Right, so... oh, cutscene time, great. Just what I want. Happen to skip cutscenes. Let's see if I can... let's do a street sprint. That'll be more fun.
Let's go! Rev it up! Rev it up!
Well, I mean, canyon sprint sounds bad. It's just that, I don't know, I just want to see the streets, you know, I mean, I want to see the lights and stuff. Not in pitch black all the time. I don't want to go from a canyon to another canyon, let's put it that way. Just like to mix things up a little bit. That's one thing that this game does a pretty good job at doing, like mixing things up. I mean, if you ask me, this game definitely takes all the good things from Most Wanted. Like, they definitely took everything that was good in it. Like, the fact that the cop chases are here, the fact that like you have speed traps and stuff, and yeah, like it's just shorter pretty much. Also, a lot of the cars that were added in Most Wanted are back in this, so yeah, not all of them, but all of the cars that I cared for, let's put it that way. Like, all my favourite cars in this are also in Most Wanted anyways, so yeah. It's like the cars that I usually go for in this game, I usually like to, like, my favourite ones are the Dodge Viper, like, that's my favourite car, definitely, I love that car. Like, mainly because it's really fast, but it's also really hard to handle, which makes it really fun to drive with. I mean, I suck at driving it, but it's fun to drive with because of that, and it's not too punishing when you crash in this game, so it's kind of like, it just feels different to like this car, which is kind of like just generic. You just turn the corner and it does it for you, you know what I mean? You have to actually use the brakes, which makes things more exciting. I wanted to slam into him, but then the race ended. Oh, no, I don't want to restart the race.
I'll check it out, I'm 10-6. Alright, I'm gonna get these guys out of here, man. You owe me.
Don't really want to get to heat level 3, so let's see if we can end this one quickly. Don't be too hard. Yeah, that pursuit breaker pretty much took them all out.
Northbound. Caller still code 6, switch over to tab 2 for quadrant setup. Members are advised to reference their screens for GPS position.
But yeah, I use the Dodge Viper. I also like to use, in this game, I like to use the Lamborghini Murcielago because I think it just, it's kind of like, it kind of suits my sort of style of play in the sense that it's all about making those smooth corners, but it's not particularly easy to control. But at the same time, it's not hard to control like the Dodge Viper, so it's like if I want to just drive smoothly, then that's the car I'll go for. And I think it is the second highest top speed in the game as well. Like, the only car faster than the Murcielago, well, unless you count the Audi, but that's not really a car that you can drive in career. But in terms of career mode, the highest top speed in the game is the Porsche, which I'm not really fond of Porsches, so I don't really go with that one. But I've always said Porsches are like glorified Volkswagen Beetles. That's what they are. Particularly the Porsche 911. Like that car, and some of the other Porsches as well, like the earlier ones, they just look like Volkswagen Beetles to me. Like, look at that car in front, like the Carrera S. It just looks ugly to me, and just don't really like the fact that I don't like its rear, like the fact that like its trunk at the back. It just looks odd. Looks like a bug, an insect. Like when I think of insects, I think of like Volkswagen Beetle and stuff like that. Looks like you're driving in a giant bug, pretty much. And yeah, I'm not into that. Right, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who like them, but I just don't. But yeah. I don't know if... Oh, hang on. I was listening to the music and I'm like, did I keep the EA tracks on? I hope not. Because that would have been annoying. Another thing about this game is, like, the worst car in the game for me, in this game, like the worst one that I've driven, would probably be the Aston Martin DB9. That car just feels pointless. Like, it's expensive as hell, and it just feels so slow, and it feels... It's like, why would I bother driving that thing when I can just drive the stock Alfa Brera at the start of the game, which can which just basically feels the same to me. I just don't see the difference. I'd just rather drive that car over the Aston Martin. That's how much I don't like that car. Oh great. I guess I'm better. Oh, he might actually win this. Yeah, he's probably gonna win it, but oh well. You win some, you lose some. And it was a Porsche as well, just to rub it in. I know, like, I know I've been hating on Porsches, but come on. Oh, thanks for knocking me in the back in your shitty Renault. It's like, you're definitely not helping, like, you're just in last place the whole time. Just get out of the race and let me just race this 1 versus 2, please. Yeah, the game isn't completely pathetically easy. There is still some challenge to it. You can still lose, let's put it that way. Especially on the second bit. But yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay ahead of him, that's kind of the gist of it. That way... Nope, past me this time. But yeah, I don't usually, as I say, I'm used to being faster than that, to be honest, like. But yeah, I'm controlling RX-7, so yeah, it's, naturally I'm just going to feel slow compared to like a Porsche. Yeah, this time it's not going to happen, buddy. Because I actually used my nitrous this time, earlier on. Well, I guess I have no choice, I have to base it, otherwise I'll take the territory. And that can be a nuisance.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the road. I got these jokers.
Is that, I don't know what that car is, that other car is. I know there's a Renault Clio, but I don't know what that other car is. Is that a Mitsubishi or something? I have no idea. I know that each of the classes, like even the like regular non-boss classes, they all drive a car that has their kind of like, it's of the same class. So I'm guessing that's in a. It might actually be an RX-7 like I'm driving now. I really could have taken that shortcut, but I was busy following him. I wasn't really thinking there. Yeah, when it comes to tuners, that's kind of the gist of it, taking all the shortcuts that you can. Right. Let's see if I can get around him. He really likes to use the NOS, but... oh shit. That corner was a very hard one to take, considering the fact I was trying to pass him. Yeah, I always feel more pressured when I'm trying to pass someone. In a tuner, the best answer, as I say, is to take the shortcut. Ah, yeah. Thinking Carbon's awesome. Definitely the best one in the series. How's it going, Henderson M? And yeah, I do know you. I know who you are. Just so you know, I'll just call you. Usual name. But yeah, this is my favourite game in the series, so I thought I'd give this game a play this time. Because, but as I say, I've done videos of this before, but I just wanted to play it again. Yeah, it's been a long time since I played that game. And to be honest, I don't really want to go back to it again. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with MMOs now. As I say, like, I don't play that game these days. Nostalgia is dead, I'm afraid. Like, I want to play other games now. I want to, as I say, I want to. I mean, the good thing about it was, though, to be honest, I never played Pro Street. I never did. I mean, Pro Street, it just didn't seem to be appealing to me personally. I think it was mainly because it had a lot of straights on it. But I guess it might be good. I don't know. But that was the point where EA started to really, like, that's where the shit started to thicken with EA when Pro Street was released. That's where they started to do all their scummy practices and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not having any of this anymore, so I just dropped the series. I did play other games in the series later on though, mainly because I bought like the new Need for Speed second hand, and I bought the Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 second hand, mainly because it was just there, and I just thought, fuck it, it was free for £10, and I was just like, okay, I'll just buy this. And yeah, I didn't enjoy them. So yeah, I made a review about Need for Speed 2015 and expressing my disgust at the always online DRM. Yeah, like, that's another thing, like the online, like Need for Speed World that they did, and they took it down. That's why I'm against always online DRM, because it's like, we put all the effort into customizing these cars, and then, like, all that effort's wasted. Oh shit, I shouldn't have. Whoops. That was my bad. And I shouldn't have, like, it's like you put all that effort into, like, doing up your cars and stuff, only for it to be wasted because, like, the servers shut down. It's just like, all that effort's gone because the publisher wants to get shut of the servers. I just think that's, I think they brought it back, apparently, what I heard, but I just think it's wrong how, like, everything's server based. I want all the data to be on my hard drive, or my memory card, or in this case my SD card. It's just, that way I can keep it and go back to it, especially for this game, because I just love going back to this game. It's one of those games that I just want to go back to, time and time again. And, like, I've played this game so many times, it just never gets old. Hey, how's it going, Bolsonberg? Playing the best, well, the last good EA game before they started to become shit. I mean, that's the thing, like, when it comes to DRM, I just want, like, I kind of get why they're doing it, because they want to gather data and see what are people more willing to spend microtransactions on, so, and other things like that, like marketing and stuff. That's why they're doing the always online DRM. They want you to always have an internet connection, so that they're always gathering data on you. That's kind of what it's all about. It's not about the fact that they need to have it so that everybody's connected. Like, I play games like, I play freaking Diablo 1, people. That game has a single player, and it also has a multiplayer. And it's separate, but you can still connect with people on it, so, whoops. Yeah, racing and talking is not my forte. And it's just like, that's the reason why always online DRM is a thing. Like, it's just so that they can basically get information from people. And it's just a lot of horse shit. You don't need to have always online to play a game, you don't. If you want to play a game, like, single player, you should be able to, like, offline. Like, there's no benefit to having online when you're playing single player. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I like, as I say, there's more to, like, the problems with Need for Speed than just the always online DRM. I mean, the recent ones have microtransactions in the form of kind of like loot boxes and shit. And I'm just like, this shit ruins, not only is this shit unethical, but it ruins the games themselves. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's more than just the ethical bit about it. Like, people make it out to be. Like, people are just like, oh, well, it's the norm now, we'll just keep going. It's actually ruining our games, because it's like, you want to get a nitrous in the game, well, previously you could just, like, do a few races and just buy it. Like, in this game, I could just buy whatever I want. Like, I just got a boss car for free, so, yeah, I just choose not to buy it. But, like, when you're playing the later ones, it's just like, oh, you have to get lucky in a loot box, and other things as well. Like, they make it grindy on purpose for the sake of, like, kind of like making it just like making you want to pay for the microtransactions. They just make it grindy, and it's just like, not only is it wrong, but it just makes the games less fun to play, because I don't want to grind in a racing game. I don't want to grind like for new parts and stuff. I just want to race and be rewarded for the races that I do, and it gets rid of that rewarding element of actually winning a race. Whoops. Yeah, I guess. You don't pay to win in all games. I mean, like, granted, it's like, I mean, I know that you get your ass handed to you in all the games, like, especially after playing Castlevania 4. Now, that was definitely an experience. I mean, that's supposed to be one of the easier ones as well, but I'm still terrible at it. By the way, Boston, I did beat Symphony of the Night just recently as well. That game was awesome. Just gonna put that out there. That game was definitely a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing that one. Yeah, that's how I beat Darius the first time. I overtook him in the Viper, pretty much. Like, and it was funny actually, because I was right on the edge of the cliff when I overtook him in the Viper. Like, I was about to fall off the cliff, but the race ended because I just overtook him, and yeah, like, the race ended with my Viper literally about to tumble down the cliff. That's how I beat him first time, which was hilarious. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, it's one of those games that actually blends in the RPG elements properly. It's not like for example, Need for Speed. Considering we're talking about Need for Speed here, it's not like Need for Speed 2015 where you have this leveling system, like, I think it's reputation system, that you have to grind and farm all the time and all that shit. You don't have that. That's not a good way to implement RPG elements. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is how you implement RPG elements, because it's like, it adds that extra layer of progression, because when you're going around, like, exploring, which is what the game's all about, you're not always going to find new things, but you're still going to kill enemies and gain experience points and level up, which makes you stronger, so you're still making some sort of progression, and I really like that aspect of it. But what the fuck? Thanks a lot for that. Really handy right there. That's my ally, folks. Those are the people that are supposed to be helping me in this race, and they just screw you over all the time. Like, they can't drive to save their lives. But at the same time, like, if you get certain ones, they will just pass you all the time, and like, it's a struggle to actually beat them in a race. Like, now I have to beat this guy, and it's not going to be easy. Let's see if I can pass him. It's going to be tough. No thanks to my teammate. But made it. There we go. Yeah, it can be difficult to pass people when they pass you in Need for Speed games. I think in all of them, it's very difficult to pass them. But when they're behind you, it's like you kind of feel like you're having it. When they're behind you, you kind of feel like you have an edge against them. Especially if you have a blocker, but like, because you can just block them and win the race cheaply, but I just can't be bothered to do that. It's just not as fun for me. Like, I just want to actually win legit, like in the previous games. Not have my hand held by my allies.
What makes you think you can roll through Fortuna? This is mine. Oh.
Looks like I have to fight Starwolf. That's another thing that I find funny about this guy. His name is Wolf, and the place he's occupying, like the territory he occupies, is Fortuna. Which is the same place you fight Starwolf in Star Fox 64. That's like too much of a coincidence right there.
You made me wait. I'm just surprised you were stupid enough to show up at all.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, some racing games back in the day, like, I remember, like, Top Gear, and, like, I couldn't get through that game, like, very far. I got through Las Vegas, but it's just, like, it took ages to get past people. Like, it really did. This will be a fun one. Considering the fact that he's in the worst car in the entire game, and I'm not. But I do think there is a little bit of rubber banding with the AI, because if this was actually like a player versus player race, there'd be no chance that he'd keep up with me at all. Well, depends how good the player is, I guess, but like in that car, yeah, you just don't have a chance, buddy. Sorry to say, but you just don't. But yeah, I haven't really played the older Need for Speed games, to be honest. I just never got around to them. Like, when it comes to old school racing games, it's for me it's like F-Zero and Top Gear. Those are the ones that I mainly played back then. Like, Top Gear is a really fun game. It's got a really awesome soundtrack, but it's not got all the licensed cars and stuff. And of course, Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. Well, how can I forget that game? That game is just freaking amazing. For a licensed game, at least. That game is the best licensed game ever made. Fact. I don't care what anyone has to say. That game is the best, because most licensed games are trash. I mean, sure, you could argue maybe you like the Star Wars games. I could understand that, or something like that. If you're a fan of that, the Star Wars, then you might like those games. But, like, come on, that game is just incredible. To say that it's a game that was made, that was supposed to represent a freaking, like, toy brand for kids, like a kid's toy brand, that game was just incredible and still lives up to this day. Like, there are a few games that are actually good, that really, oh right, this guy has actually passed me in his Aston Martin DB9, shit. On the last bit. This might actually be difficult. But I did pass him there, and he's not taking the shortcut like an idiot. Yeah. It really does help to know all the shortcuts in this game. It really does. But yeah, like, definitely when it comes to like the, I don't know where to go, what to play next in the Castlevania series, to be honest. Like, now I've played 4 and Symphony of the Night. I don't know what's next. Maybe try and finish the first game. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. And that would be difficult. But that would be an ordeal. But apparently, considering the fact that it's harder than Castlevania 4, yeah, that sounds pretty difficult. But yeah, I could do that, but at the same time I could never do that because I just don't have the patience to do that shit. Oh, will I pass him just like I did with Kenji? I think I might do. Yeah, he's done. That didn't last long. My goal here, and I'm not going to, so that I'm not cheating, I'm not going to pick any of the visual or anything else. The goal here is to not get his car. Because his car is shit. But we'll just see, I don't know. I mean, I could get the unique part upgrade, but I want to see if I can get the money. Get out of jail free. See if this is the money. You never know. Extra impound strike. Well, I didn't get the car, thank God. No, you know, I'm just joking. I just don't like his car. I think it's shit. It'd actually be better for me to get his car because I could sell it and make money, so... yeah. Like, I just don't like that car in this game. It's just so slow. Like you see me going at like 120 right now. It takes forever for it to stay at 100. Like, compared to this car, where you can just get to like 120 reasonably quickly. That's like the average speed of the DB9 is 100. The average speed of this car when it gets going is about... I'm not really sure if average is the right word for it, but it's like 120 or something. Oh god, this guy. Great. I really don't want this guy in my crew. He is the worst crew member in the game. He is. Hands down, I'm not hiring you, buddy. Right, so now we just need to race against this one here. Yeah, we have to race against them. This will be fun. Yeah, it's been ages since I played Gran Turismo 2. I remember when I played that I used the Subaru Impreza because, well, I like Subarus. But yeah, it's been a while since I played that game. I don't even know if I've still got the data for it, to be honest. Oh god, this is going to be rough because I'm up against muscle cars and a tuner. Great. And these things are fast. Yeah, these cars that they're driving are the best, like, in my opinion, the best car class in the game. Because they're just so fast, and especially for the AI, like, the AI just drives them like crazy, and it's just like, they can corner with them so easily, whereas you can't because they're really hard to handle, but at the same time, it's like they can drive still really fast, and you can't. Even though I'm driving a tuner, like, they can drive way faster than me because they just have more acceleration. In other words, the only way to really win a race against these guys is, well, to use nitrous a lot and to, like, take shortcuts. That's kind of the best method. It might sound weird for me to not like Aston Martins as well. I will admit, part of the reason why is just that I don't like the Aston Martin as well. I just don't like the car. Like, it might sound weird for a British person to not like Aston Martins, but I just don't. I just think that they're like... I just think they're so showy for the sake of being showy, but at the same time it's just like... It's just like I don't like Porsches because they're just so showy. I just don't like that sort of car. Like, I don't mind certain showy cars, like the more modern ones, but I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the Aston Martin. It's just like, oh fuck, I'm gonna lose this one as well. Fuck, yeah, this one's a loss. Doesn't help that I'm up against muscle cars. But I'm just not into the DB9. I'm just not personally. It's just not my favourite car. I just don't know. Maybe I don't think it's that terrible, I guess, but I just think I think there's some decent Aston Martins, to be honest. It's just the DB9, and I just don't like it. Like the Vanquish and cars like that are pretty nice, but I just think the DB9, it's a bit like the Porsche. It looks, for an exotic, it just looks a bit like, or like in real life terms, like European cars, it just looks a bit too like curvy. Looks like you're driving a giant insect. If that makes sense, like, I don't know. I've just not been fond of it, let's put it that way. When it comes to British made, like, all, that's the thing, like, when it comes to British cars, like, we don't really have any cars anymore. We sold all of our motor, like, we sold all of our car companies to the freaking Chinese and the Germans, so pretty much every single British car that you see, like, and it's labelled British in a racing game, that's German now, or Chinese. Like, for example, we used to have, actually I'm not sure if we used to have Minis, I think we did. They're German now, so it's like a lot of our cars are now German and Chinese now. It's like Rovers, they're now Chinese because we sold our car industry. Oh god, this guy is really fast, isn't he? This is what happens when you're up against muscle cars. They're just really hard to beat. They really are. Especially when you're driving this car. I'm not a fan of Corvettes either. Like, Corvettes are just not my thing. I don't like Chevrolets. I don't like Chevrolets, I don't like Fiats, I don't like Renaults, I don't like a lot of cars really. I don't like that thing that he's driving. Renault Clio looks ugly as hell and just awful. I don't like any French cars. French cars are all terrible. Like, the only reason why people drive French cars is because they're cheap. That's the only reason why people drive them. And you can't blame them for driving them, like, they're cheap. But they're known for breaking down a lot. So they're not reliable. Let's put it that way. Yeah, the fact that he has a lot of acceleration means that I'm gonna have to take this shortcut. Also, Boston, have you noticed the name of my driver that I've put my alias? I bet you'll get that reference. But yeah, like cars that... I'm trying to think, what other cars don't I like? Like, I don't like the worst car that was ever made to me was the Fiat 500, which is funny because, like, to me, the reason why I hate the Fiat 500, I'll tell you exactly why I hate the Fiat 500. It's because it's the freaking cheapest car you can drive in Gran Turismo that's brand new, and in Gran Turismo 2, and I picked that car because it was the only brand new car. I didn't know that, but the only used cars you could buy in Gran Turismo 2 were Japanese ones. So I didn't know you could buy used cars in that game. But then I saw the Fiat 500 and I saw it was dirt cheap and I picked it up and I thought, oh, this is the only car, I guess. And it handled like, it was like driving a freaking lawnmower. That's what it was. Like, it was like driving a freaking lawnmower. It would only go to a maximum of 20 miles per hour. It's just like, why is this in a racing game? And ever since then, I've always hated the Fiat 500. Always. Like, it's now my least favourite car of all time, just simply for that fact. And I'll never ever like it. It's just a horrendous vehicle. I don't even like how it looks. Like, it just looks horrible. It's just, everything about it is just dreadful. I mean, it's kind of weird, like, over here in the UK, like, you never see cars like Corvettes come out. Well, obviously not. Well, actually, I did see a Corvette once at a motor show. But, like, you never see cars like that you'd see in America. You don't see Dodges and Chevrolets, or, like, you don't see, like, Cadillacs and all that. Like, you don't see all these American brands over here. Like, over here, what you usually see is BMWs, Audis, and, like, Volkswagens, Vauxhalls, Fiats, and Renaults. That's usually the most common cars that you see over here in the UK. What everybody drives, pretty much. Like, you never see anybody driving Dodge cars. Like, there's just no... I've never seen a Dodge car in real life. like, never seen one. I have seen a Chevrolet, but only because I went to a motor show that had a Corvette that was there, and that's it. Like, I've never seen a Dodge car in my life. I've never seen any, like, Cadillac in my life. So, yeah, I don't know why, but you just never see them around here. It's like, you get Fords around here, they're pretty common, but that's about it. Like, Fords are probably the most common, like, car that you see in the UK. Pretty much. Like, so it's kind of, like, weird how it's only the American cars we don't see. We see plenty of Japanese cars, like Nissans. We see plenty of, like French and, like, Italian and German cars, but there's no, like, American cars. Like, I mean, we also get Korean cars, like Kias as well. There's no, like, it's just like Dodge and, like, you don't see Dodges around here. It's just like, and you barely ever see Chevrolets around here, and you don't see Cadillacs around here, or Lincolns, or Hummers. You just don't see them around here. I don't know if it's like that in America, but I have no idea. Nope, no Ford trucks around here. I don't know, like, closest we get to trucks is usually Japanese ones, usually. Like, usually Mitsubishis and stuff, and that's usually the case. It's like, around the area that I'm in, it's usually, like, there's actually some upmarket cars that I see around my area, because I see a lot of Porsches, and I see a lot of, like, Mercedes as well, and some BMWs and Audis. Those are usually, like, the more common upmarket cars, and then you see all the naff ones, like Renaults and Peugeots and shit like that. It's like, I remember one time I saw a Pontiac Firebird as well. And it was when I was at work. I saw a Pontiac Firebird parked in the car park, and that's about it, pretty much. That's the only Pontiac I've ever seen. Whoops, that was not a good corner, that. Yeah, I better use my knife to get ahead of them a little bit, because they're up my arse now. Yeah, I could have taken that shortcut, but completely missed it. But yeah, like, I know that people in America are really, like, they're really serious about cars over there. I mean, we kind of are over here as well, but it's just kind of a different kettle of fish, because it's like, we have no motor industry anymore. Like, we don't have any cars of our own, we sold them all. So it's like, there's no real iconic car that we have. I mean, there used to be, like, we used to have Rovers. They used to be the car you used to see every day. Like, back in the 90s, that was the most common car on the road, like, was a Rover. Like, you would see them everywhere. Nowadays, you barely ever see Rovers at all. Like, they were bought by the Chinese, and that's it. You don't see Rovers anymore, but they were, like, one of our more iconic cars that you see on the road, because, yeah, sure, we have all our supercars, like McLaren and stuff, but like, what I'm talking about is, like, conventional cars you see on the road. Like, Rover was, like, our, like, conventional road car. Like, for example, I remember back in the day, like, my parents had a Rover Metro, and that was the car they had for a long time. And it was just so common, like, to have a Rover. And they were all ugly cars, pretty much. They were all, like, I never liked them. They were all pretty much ugly as shit. They kind of, what I would say, they're kind of like a mixture between, like, it's like they've got this kind of like refinedness to it, but in a, like, cheap and tacky way, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's not like a Peugeot or something, but it still feels really cheap and tacky in comparison to that of like more like other cars. Like for example, cars that I like that you see on the road, I like Nissans. I like them. I like Japanese cars. I like, I would say, like, those are usually the cars that I like when I see on the road. I mean, I don't drive in real life, believe it or not. Part of the reason why I don't play on manual transmission, but like that's another thing. Like, if you want to learn to drive over here in the UK, it's hard. It is very hard. Like, because in the UK you have a lot more like driving regulations. Like I actually had a conversation with someone from America, so they mentioned, I don't know if it's like that in different states though, but he said when he goes to the UK he doesn't ever go drinking. He never has anything to drink in the UK because he knows that if he's driving he has to be very careful because like it's a lot more stricter. And if you like want to get a driving test, it's fucking crazy. I've only driven a car once in my life, and it was a Rover, believe it or not. And I just didn't like it. I just wasn't keen on driving at all. I just wasn't. Because it just felt like a faff to have to drive a manual transmission. And if you want to get an automatic car in the UK, it's not easy because most cars are manual over here. So it's like, there's no point in learning to drive with automatics in the UK because you won't be able to drive most cars. That's just the way it is. If you want to learn to drive in the UK, you better learn to drive manual, and you better be accustomed to it. But I'm just not a fan of having to make sure I'm in the right gear while at the same time paying attention to the road. It's just not my thing at all. It's like trying to play real-time strategy. That's what it's like trying to play. It's like trying to play Warcraft 3. It's like you have to build buildings while at the same time moving the units out of the way and surrounding enemies and like producing units all at the same time. Like, I mean, at least games like that have hotkeys and make it a little bit easier, but like in real life where you have to actually use the freaking gear stick is just not my cup of tea. I don't want, like, in a game, yeah, sure, I can see the fun in using manual transition in the game even though I don't, but in real life, no, because I'm not trying to race, I'm just trying to get from A to B. I don't want to have to shift gears and shit. Ah, great. Just got passed by another muscle car. Like, this is the hardest car class to beat, hands down. Especially in the tuner, like, it's just really hard to beat these guys. It really is difficult to beat muscle cars. Mainly because they just have so much acceleration and the AI just controls them like crazy. Yeah, basically manual is this. You get to like around like 15 miles an hour shift. Like, it depends on the car, like just like then like 25 miles per hour like shift, and you have to get to like, it's just like you have to constantly shift the gear and everything. Like, let's put it this way, I've tried it and it's just a needless faff. It really is. Like, it's just like you want to keep your eyes on the road, but at the same time, like when you're first learning how to use the gears, you just want to make sure it's in the right gear. It doesn't, like, you actually put it in the right gear. It's just like, I can't do this shit. Like, it was a pain in the ass for me to do. And also another part that's annoying is the clutch, because like, as well, like how you have to push it, you have to like, to actually get the car to move, you have to like, as I say, you have to bring it up. That moves the car, but you have to push it down every time you shift gear. And some cars have a very heavy clutch. So if you want to shift gear in those cars, then every time you shift gear, you have to push the clutch down. And that's a pain in the neck. So it was just so much to take in, and I just really didn't like it. But yeah, like, over here in the UK, there's like tons and tons of like speed traps everywhere, and the cops are literally on everyone's case for speeding. Like, it doesn't stop people from doing it, obviously, but let's put it this way, like, it's very strict. Like, people will just, I mean, obviously the speeding laws everywhere, but like, oh shit, like, in the UK especially, like, it's like they have lots more speed cameras and stuff on, like, all over, and they just, like, so, like, obsessive over it. Like, so it's just, I just don't, and you still, as I say, you still have idiots on the road as well, like, so it's just like, there's no really happy medium. It's just, driving just doesn't feel fun to me. I'd just rather just ride a bike, because it's just a lot easier. Like, it's just a lot less hassle. Because when you ride a bike, you just ride it. There's no, like, oh god, this is actually proving to be quite difficult. Like, I beat all the boss races pretty easily, and then this race, I just get this, like, the moment I enter this territory, I just get destroyed. So yeah, that's why I don't drive in real life, because it's a hassle. But if I did drive, the car of choice that I would probably pick would probably be a Nissan. Like, because, like, people I've known who have Nissans, they seem to work pretty well, and they're not too expensive, and easy enough to, like, insure, so just whatever, just go with it. That's the way I see it. But yeah, it's definitely, driving just isn't for me. But I like a good racing game. I like racing games, and I like cars, but I don't like driving. I know that might sound like a crazy combination, but it is. I'm afraid, like, I'd rather watch other people drive than actually drive myself, pretty much. Let them go through all the bullshit. That's why I say thank God that racing games actually make it fun. And that's another reason why I don't like sim racing games as much, because it's just like, it's too realistic, and it just feels like you're driving, like, real life car, but faster, and I'm just not into that. I'd just rather just drive at, like, ridiculously high speeds and then drift around corners at unrealistic speeds. That's what I want to do. Yeah, like, it's just more fun for me, and it's just like, doesn't take it seriously, but you still get the cool cars that you get to see, and it's like, I do like the idea of, like, cars and stuff. I like them as an idea. Like, it's cool to have your own, like, vehicle that you can drive around, and, like, it's like it's like having, like, it's like home from home is a car, you know what I mean? Like, it's your property, and, like, you can store whatever the hell you want in it, and you can drive it around. It's like, I mean, it's, as I say, like, when you get into a car, you just feel right at home when you get into a car that is yours, you know what I mean? Even though that's not really the case for me, but, like, you would, like, I can picture that you'd feel real at home, you know what I mean? And that's, the whole idea of it is really cool, but driving is just not cool to me, like, at least in real life. But yeah, like, racing games are a different kettle of fish. Love them. They're a lot of fun, and you can just do crazy shit, particularly in F-Zero GX, and that's not even a car racing game, and that game is just pure adrenaline pumping action. Like, that is like adrenaline pumping, like, in its rawest state. That's what F-Zero is. Like, F-Zero GX is like, it's like pure, like, raw dopamine. That's what it is. Ah, I see. Yeah, you probably, it's probably the best thing, like, to do. Let someone else drive. On the bright side, the good thing about not being able to drive is that you never have to be the person who has to drive everybody back from, like, the bar or something. You're like, you never have to be the designated driver. You're always the passenger no matter what, and that's always the best part about it. It's just like, screw it, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's like I usually cycle. That's what I do mainly. Oh great, now my territory's been taken over. Yeah, I can kind of see that. It's like when I was a kid, I remember like my mum couldn't drive, so she had to like, I remember she had to like bike me everywhere. It's like my dad drove, but my mum didn't. I mean, it's pretty obvious that my dad drove because he was actually in the motor trade, but my mum didn't drive. She never passed the test, so I had to usually go in I had to usually, like, when I was like a baby, like I was like putting a bike like on the back seat of the bike. So yeah, it's just like, that's kind of how it was. And eventually I just grew too old for that, so, but that's what it was like at one point. But yeah, like, I mean, I understand a lot of people like driving. I mean, as I say, like, I think it's something that I can see why people like it. I can see why people like driving, because it's like, you just get to like, you just get to be like, it's a home from home, and at the same time you know, go from place to place in something that is sheltered from rain and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, it's a good thing, but it's just so much of a hassle because of road regulations. Like, and yeah, and freedom as well. Like, you can get from place to place and stuff a lot easily. But at the same time, like, it's a very constrained thing, because like when you're actually on the road, you just have to go, like, you really have to do it by the book, and it's just like it's just like, I mean, come on, they're making driverless cars now, which that's a death trap waiting to happen if you ask me. But like, it just goes to show that really cars are really just might as well just be automated, even though that's stupid in itself, because like, as we all know, technology isn't perfect. It might as well be automated, because what you're doing in a car is the same thing time and time again that you normally do, like, and it's just, yeah, it's just a bit of a hassle. Whereas in the bike, you can go as fast as you want, or as fast as you can go. Pretty much, it's like, it's not really that big of an issue. Of course, you can't, like, if you could drive as fast as a car in a bike, then yeah, it'd probably be a bit dangerous, but like, you can go a lot faster, and you just feel that, you know, it's just, that's the way I see it.
Units monitoring, we have multiple 911 reports of a speeding vehicle. Description matches a Watson racer.
Yeah, I want to eventually do a, like, maybe do one on the Midnight Club 3 as well. as I say, that series definitely needs to return. Like, if any racing game series needs to return, that's, well, F-Zero first, that game needs to return first, but then Midnight Club is probably the next in line to return. I mean, I want to see Midnight Club return as well, because that game was really fun. It had a lot of cars, and it was just really fun in general. Like, I mean, LA was not as good in my opinion, but it had good customization. I just didn't like how the racing mechanics were. It just felt a bit, I don't know. The AI was a bit of a pain in that game. But Midnight Club 3, yeah, that game was one of the better street racing games for me. Well, car racing games, definitely. I mean, I like other racing games as well, but it's just like, it depends. Like, sim racing games are a bit, like, iffy with me. I mean, like, I don't mind, like, Dirt Showdown. That's an alright game, but it's nothing amazing, if you know what I mean. I like being able to buy my own car and do it up. I like that personalization, you know what I mean, that you get with racing games like this. Where you actually get to do your car up and with finals and stuff. It's really cool, even though I haven't really done any car up so far. But yeah, I've already done cars up on other files. There's no point in doing this. I'm only doing this for the stream anyway. That's the only reason why I have this file up. So yeah, pretty much. So I'm just basically just getting through it. I mean, I haven't even bought a sim. Like, this just shows how short this game is. Like, this game is so short. Like, I'm already in the 3rd territory, and there's only 1 territory after that, and then the game's finished. Like, this game doesn't take long at all. Like, it takes a few hours at best, but not many. Like, how long have we been streaming so far? Like, it's like around 2 hours so far. By the looks of it. And we're already more than halfway through the game. Yeah, that's how crazy it is. Like, that's how short this game is. But, you know, like, I like my games short but sweet these days. I just do, like, personally. Like, I mean, nothing against long games. Long games can be fun, but, like, when a game's short but it does everything right, it's, like, it just has all that replay value that you just want to go back and play it again. And that's one thing that this game does well at. Like, Need for Speed Most Wanted, for me, was just too long, like, as well. Like, I tried to replay the game, but I just couldn't. Like, it just took too long to get through from, like, you had to do all the stupid milestones. Like, the problem with Most Wanted is all of the, like, prerequisites that you have to do before you can actually race the boss races. You had to actually, like, do all the milestones and get a certain, like, grind for bounty, which was annoying. Like, I just felt that could have just been taken out, and they did take it out in this. Like, I mean, I like how the cop chases are still in this game, but they're not, like, you don't have to, like, actually do the cop chases, if that makes sense. It's just, like, optional. Well, granted, there are in races, but they're not a big part of the game. You don't have to deliberately get into a cop chase, if you know what I mean. Unless you want to get the reward cards, which I did just to get all the reward cards. And yeah, it was pretty fun, but it was tough to get the Crusher reward card. That was a tough one to get, but other than that, like, yeah, like, I think this game cuts out all of the, like, boring shit. Pretty much. And that's what makes it so much more fun for me. But when it comes to content, as I say, Midnight Club 3 is the one I choose. Can't really think of any other racing game, though. As I say, I still need to play more games. That's another thing that's been on my mind recently. Like, I really need to start playing more games because there's just so many games that I still haven't played. And that's why I've been playing games like Castlevania Symphony of the Night and stuff, because I need to play more games, like, because there's so many games I've missed out on. And it's alright me replaying this, but really I should be playing some different games. Just to broaden my knowledge on games in general. Pretty much, that's what I need to be doing. And I'm aware of that, so yeah, that's what I've been trying to do as well recently. Just try something different, try some new series that I have missed or like otherwise haven't got around to. But that's kind of what I've been doing recently as well. So yeah, oh god, this is going well. With Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and like, I'm not really doing very well at drifting in this car. Wasn't so bad in the RX-8, but in the RX-7 it's definitely not my kind of car for drifting. I can definitely say that. Yeah, it's a bit hard to corner with this one. Well, compared to other cars. Whoops, hit the wall, went straight into the wall there. See if I can get a decent multiplier here. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to snake it a little because it has extra multipliers. Whoa, but that didn't knock all the points away, so I still kept my points. Oh, that didn't do a drift, did it? Oh, great, I went too fast down there. Yeah, this is the best drift ever right here. Like, not. This drifting is just absolute shit. Right here. This is definitely not a car that's easy to drift in compared to the other cars. Like, I wouldn't say that this car is an easier one to drift with. But it got the job done. It's like, maybe if I wasn't streaming I could concentrate a bit more. I could probably maybe do it, but... No, I've got speed trap and a checkpoint. I don't want to do a checkpoint, they're boring to watch. Let's do something that's fun to watch. An actual race. What I'll probably do is probably end the stream when I beat the next boss. That's probably what I'll do. Because I know the next part is going to be a bit long, and I know that and it would be a good stopping point, pretty much, if I decide to just stop at that point. Plus it gets a lot harder, so yeah, it'd be difficult for me to stream at that point. But I don't know, might at one point stream that bit and another stream, I'm not sure. Yeah, I was a bit ambitious with that one, that I turned too quickly there. Like, when it comes to games like this, which are all about cornering, unlike games like F-Zero, it's all about, like, actually turning as fast as you can, like, pretty much. Oh god, this is rough. Yeah, this game really likes to hold your hand a lot. But at the same time, the AI can sometimes be tough. Particularly if they're using muscle cars. Muscle cars are the hardest to deal with. Yeah, this is probably going to be a loss because I just can't catch up. That's how far ahead they can get, particularly on straights. They just dominate on straights very easily. Yeah, this isn't going to be a win. This might as well just start now. Now let's see if I can get past him first. That'd be the best thing. Oh, great! Thanks for lowering my speed to like a crawl. Yeah, these guys are really fast. But I should be able to do it. Hey, speed trap does not help because, like, this car isn't all about being fast. This car is all about handling, really. That's what tuners are all about in this game. So, yeah, it's difficult to race with these cars. Like, especially in a speed trap, because it's all about being as fast as possible. So I have to really get ahead, and even if I do win this race, like the actual racing bit, I might actually need to block them here. Just simply so that I get some distance between me and them. Just simply because it's a speed trap. So I have to play dirty a little bit. Look, they're catching up to me so quickly here. Ah, missed a shortcut there.
Attention all units. Attention all units.
Now my crew members just disappeared off the face of the earth, so...
Just reported northbound. Units in the area.
Yeah, this isn't going to be a win, this. Definitely not. We've definitely lost this. I might end up having to do the checkpoint race at this rate because dealing with muscle cars on this track is just not easy. Yeah, it's like I won the race, but I lost because I just wasn't fast enough. So what I'll do is just continue, and I'll do the... No. Great. Now I have to do a defensive race. I'll have to do the checkpoint race because doing that in the tuner is not easy. Speaking of which, the boss race in this area as well, not this area, but in the Kempton area is going to be an absolute bitch to do in this car. But it does have the best car in the game, right at this point in my opinion, as a reward. But yeah, this shouldn't be too hard because defensive races are a lot, sometimes, depending on who you get, are sometimes a lot easier. Like, unless you get Inferno or something like that, they're annoying because they're muscle cars. The AI drive really well with muscle cars, and they are the best car in the game if you can handle them, pretty much. Like, they just have the worst handling, and that's not a problem for the AI because they handle cars perfectly anyways, so yeah. But it's not just that, even if you do handle them perfectly, like, whoops, that was bad. Like, even if you do handle them perfectly, like, you will lose a lot of speed on turning because they will just, like, steer so, they'll be, like, the drift will be, like, they'll lose a lot of speed from the car, basically. Whoops, shit, that went well. I was looking at the chats, seeing if there was anything going on there, that's why I ended up screwing up there. Nah, I've been passed by a Porsche, great. I swear, like, this is karma for me shitting on them for, like, not being muscle cars. That's what this is, and also for hating Porsches, because it's another Porsche that's just gone in front of me. That's what this is. Yeah, this isn't going to be easy.
Yeah, say with it, man. Say with it.
Mainly because of the way the AI works. So I'm just going to, yeah, take the shortcut. That's usually the best thing to do in a tuner, just take all the shortcuts and use all your nitrous. But if you're driving anything else, you usually don't need to, really.
That's about how good we are, man. Yeah. Alright, dude.
That's going to be impossible, so we're going to do this. That'll be a lot easier than the speed trap. I mean, it probably could be possible, but it just takes forever, so I'll do the easier one for this. But yeah, muscle cars are really fun to drive because they're so hard to control, and I prefer driving them to tuners because tuners just feel so slow to me in comparison. Like, this can barely get to like 140. If I had the Dodge Charger RT, I could probably get to like 150 or 160 in that thing. Like, granted this can get to 150, but it does take a while to get there. Like, it's there now, but that's because this is one of the longest straights in the game right here. But yeah, it's like the way the AI works in Need for Speed is it's kind of like, if they're in front, they'll usually have the advantage. You really have to push hard to get past them. And in a tuner, it's not the easiest thing. Taking a shortcut can help, but also like taking good corners also helps as well. But when you're up against muscle cars in particular, it's difficult. Because it's like they have like a lot of acceleration, so, and also higher speed than top speed than you as well. So it's just like they can really go at crazy speeds, and I know because if you drive one, you can see that that's the case. So yeah, that's why I kind of saved this one for last, because I knew it was going to be the hardest one to do. And it only gets harder in the next one. But I'll probably save that one for later. Yeah, the checkpoint races in this game aren't the best, really. They're just a bit... They're just a bit boring. You're just going around and reach the next checkpoint. Like, this could be something that didn't need to be in the game, really, but was in the game. I guess it's just as filler, I suppose, but it really doesn't need to be there. I mean, what they really... And I think a lot of racing games are doing this now. Like, the one good thing racing games are doing is kind of like having like areas in which you can like do time trials in. So from like when you're doing it in free roam, you start in an area and then you do a time trial to get to the next area. That one's a pretty rough one because, oh, I've got speed trap as well. This is probably my safest bet because it's a drift. That's one thing that tuners are really good at, drifting, because you can handle them really easily. But I'm driving like shit here, so yeah, I won't be any good at this point. Yeah, this car is... oh, fuck. This car is very hard to corner with compared to like other tuners. It just feels so really difficult to make like quick corners. This car is more geared for racing than it is for like drifting. It's not like For example, like, whoops, yeah, it's not easy to turn with this car compared to like other cars, I would say, like in the classes. Maybe it's because of how it's being tuned, I don't know, but usually when I tune these cars, like, because I got this car from Kenji, I didn't obviously customize it, so I haven't tuned it myself, which does not help, so he's probably tuned it wrong for drifting, which has not helped at all. Like, he's probably given it way too much grip, and, like, way too much, like the rear brakes aren't very good, so yeah, that's probably the reason why it's so hard, because of how it's being tuned, and you do have to tune your car right for you, and this car really isn't tuned right for me at all. But yeah, like, I could probably tune it, but it would cost money to actually buy parts, and I can't be bothered to do that. Oops, that was definitely my fault, that one. So I want a corner now, but no, I get a decent, like, I can clearly see that this car has a lot of grip. It definitely does, because of how hard it is to get a drift started. It's just, it doesn't really like drifting at all. But it's a good race car, that's one thing I can definitely say. Just that if I was to pick a car for drifting, I'd probably pick something else in this tier. I'd probably go for the Sprint here, because it's not a speed trap, and speed traps just destroy me. Like, the Renault Clio in this game is probably one of the better cars for drifting in Tier 2, to be honest. As much as I don't like Renaults, it probably is the... Like, from what I've tested of it, it probably is, like, at Tier 2, one of the better cars to drift with. Like, it's really good. Whereas this car is more about just cornering in a race, really. I mean, obviously, the best car for drifting in this game is, you get it later, is 350Z. That car is the best car for drifting, hands down. Like, it's just, you can do some crazy stuff in that car. Like, so yeah, that was a bad idea of me, especially considering the fact that he's just used his nitrous. Yeah, I'm about to take the shortcut now. Yeah, if you're paying attention, you'll see that the reason, the thing that's keeping me going in these races is the shortcuts. They're actually what's keeping me winning, pretty much. If it wasn't for the shortcuts, there's no way I would be able to win. Like, no chance. Because muscle cars are just so freaking good in this game. Like, I could probably win by tuning my car up, which is really what I should be doing at this point. I should be, like, maxing it out, but... I mean, this is pretty well... Like, it's got some performance upgrades already in it, but... Like... I really should be, like, tuning it and stuff, and I'm not.
It's about time we did this. You want Kempton?
You can take that territory. Because I'm just going to fight the boss. This is going to be rough. Let's see how well I do. I mean, I'm in a fully tuned car, so there really is no excuse for me this time if I lose this. But this is still going to be hard because the car that she's driving is probably the best tier 2 car in the game in my book. And she's just going to try and push me away. Yeah, look how she just catches up there. What I like to do against Angie is to keep blocking her at the back and watch my rear mirror to make sure she never passes me. Because believe me, like, she will pass a lot. Or try to. And try and take good corners as well. And there are some shortcuts on this track, but unfortunately they're all at a point that benefits her. Like, this is one of them. Now, the reason why this benefits her is that right after this is going to be a nasty corner. Well, first of all, it's going to be a long straight. And muscle cars are really good on long straights. And now you get a nasty corner. Now, this is nasty no matter what car you're driving, if you ask me. So you have to slow down on this one. And even use the brakes if you want to do it smoothly. And that's where she'll catch up to you. But I knocked her back by using my rear view mirror. Yeah. And then she likes to take that little shortcut over there, which I don't think is beneficial, personally. And this one's good, but the one afterwards is not worth it in my opinion. Right, there we go. Yeah, see, I'm doing reasonably well here, but granted, this is a fully upgraded car, so it's not like I'm doing this in a tier 1 car, so it's kind of to be expected that I do well here. Well, this car isn't fully upgraded, but it is upgraded to some degree. It has nitrous, and nitrous does really help in this race. Yeah, the music as well, that's another thing I like about this game. That the music is intense in the right way. Like, rather than using shitty licensed music, like most racing games do, I mean, not all of it's bad, but, like, it actually has its own soundtrack for races. Whereas the other Need for Speed games used licensed music, which I just think doesn't give it that flavour, whereas this game does give you that flavour, if that makes sense. And that's one of the reasons why I like this game a lot as well, because you have that flavour in the races because of the music. It feels intense. This shouldn't be too hard. I don't think she's that bad in the canyon. By that I mean I know she's terrible. Whether I'll get past her or not is another story though. Like, let's see, what will we get? We're getting up her ass, that's for certain. Oops. Ooh, getting close now. Yeah, because basically what you do in a canyon race, it's like the first one to the finish line isn't necessarily the winner. It's like you each take turns racing downhill and you score points. And to get more points you have to race closer to them. If you overtake them like I did for long enough, then you automatically win the race. So yeah, and that's what I've done for all the other ones. So I might do it with this one. Yeah, I've basically done it. Yep, I win. So like, but what normally happens is you race to the bottom, usually behind them, and once you get to the bottom, you race, but you're in front, and you have to race around against them. And yeah, like, they have to catch up to you, and they have to take away all your points, and that's kind of how it is. But yeah, I just overtake them because it's quicker. But yeah, that's basically all of the races. Wonder if I'll get the car. Let's see. I got cash. Oh well. I could always buy the car. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. In any case, once I've gotten this guy and I can save the game, I'll probably call it for today. But yeah, the whole point in this video really was to basically inform people of what was going on, really. Mainly because of, well, you probably already know what's been going on Borsenberg, but, like, mainly because, like, just sharing my thoughts about what I've been doing and stuff. Like, I'm still, as I say, there's still something that I'll want to be working on, as I say, the review I want to be working on, but I'll just have to see if I can actually get the right images. It all depends. But I think that's probably what I'm gonna start working on after I've done this. I'll see if I can get some more recordings done, and see if I can get some more images from that.
Hey, what's going on? You're not interested?
I love how he calls you again, even though I'm right next to him.
Well.
But yeah. This is where you get the tier 3 shit. Oh yeah, I have to do this shit as well. Before I can save the game. There's a lot of cutscenes in this section that I have to basically skip through, so I'm gonna have to do that. Like, a lot of this game is just cutscenes. That's basically what a lot of this game is, to be honest. But, like, if you skip the cutscenes, the game goes back very quickly. Like, it's as if, like... It's as if, like, the game's all cutscenes and shit. Right, let's skip him, and yeah, skip that, and now I can save the game. What I could do though is do one more race maybe. Oh, fuck that shit. Do one more race and see if I can unlock a car. That unlocks transmission. I'm pretty sure there is one that unlocks a car. Plymouth Hemi-Cuba. That's one car that I could get. Yeah, let's get the Plymouth Hemi-Cuba, why not? I think this is it, yeah. Let's try this event. It's not going to be easy because now we're up against tier 3s, and those cars are really fast. But yeah. Alright, let's skip this shit. At least we're only up against tuners, like, we're not up against Corvettes yet. That's where things get really annoying, when you're up against freaking Corvettes. But if I can... take advantage of these shortcuts, then I shouldn't have too much of an issue. I mean, their cars are way better than this one. I really should have taken that corner faster, but well. Yeah, at least you can take the shortcuts to really make this a lot easier. So it looks like if I do stream this game again, I'll be driving a Plymouth Hemi-Cuda. I don't think I've ever seen the Plymouth in real life either, to be honest. I don't know much about them. I've never heard of them. Like, ever. I know they're an American car, but that's about it, and don't really know much about Plymouth brand at all. Whoa, I'm way out in front here. Don't know what's going on, but like, I'm just like way in the lead. Like they're like, look at their times, Jesus. That's how far behind they are. What happened? Have they got stuck or something? Yeah, what I'll probably do is beat this race, buy that car, and then, yeah, I'll just call it. Might show off a bit of customization, I'm not sure. Since at this point there's quite a lot of it. Those guys are way behind. Like this. And I'm in an inferior car to those guys as well. Now I have to... what's this shit?
I run everything, cars and drivers. I've been running you all along. Never mind.
Right, so now we have to listen to this crap. Great. Have fun listening to this shit. That might well be the stupidest thing I have ever watched in my life. Right, let's see if I can customize... Oh, hang on a minute. I just need to actually go on the world map and just jump to the car lot or something. Which means I have to go to free roam, jump to car lot, buy the Plymouth Hemi-Cuda. That's what I need to just do. And then once I've bought that, I'll probably do it up a little. Something, I don't know. Yeah, let's buy that. Got tons of cash. But it's a muscle car, so it's going to be a lot harder to handle. Right. Let's jump to safe house then. And I guess I will do it up. So yeah, the rest of this stream is just going to be me doing shit up. But yeah, we've got the auto sculpt here. I like the look of... Hang on a minute. What have we got? G-force, speedway. I'll go with this one. Screw it. But yeah, you can change this, for example, like each individual part. If you plug in the nunchuck, you can see more clearly. But yeah, like I can make this bigger or smaller. But so give it a nice little grin there. But I don't really want to, so I'll put that at 60. I can put that down a little, but I'm not going to be too extravagant. I'll put it down at 40. There we go. do the same for the rear bumper. But I'm probably going to go for something else for this. This one looks alright. This one comes with its own spoiler. Might as well. Just go all out there. Go with 90 for that, why not? Can do side skirts as well. Classic looks a bit bland. G-force, that'll do. And yeah, you got hoods. Sniper charge, and screw it, we'll go with this. Oh, nice. We've already got a spoiler, we don't need another spoiler. That might as well be a spoiler as far as I'm concerned. Let's just give it that. I don't want to add Colin to my team though, so I won't bother. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do with that, and the rest I'm just going to buy shit. Buy some wheels and shit, and what would work with a muscle car. That's a bit too much. Yeah, these don't really fit it. Which one should I go with? Maybe that? Or what's that? I'll go with this. Why not? That looks alright. And of course want performance as well. Yeah. Don't have any right now. So I can't do anything. Oh well. Visual, what colour do I want it? I want a nice orange. That kind of fits it if you ask me, but how about a red? Or white? You know what? Let's just make it black. I don't know why, but it might actually be pretty good. Now I can add some vinyl. I'm not going to go too extravagant on this, but let's see, flame body, what have we got? I have nothing right now. Stripe body, I think we'll go for something with like flames. We'll see what we've got. I'll just put a basic vinyl around here. Something that will suit it. That looks basic enough. Probably make this orange. Yeah, that'll do. And now another one. I can't really see much what's going on here, but because I don't have the nunchuck, you need the nunchuck to turn the camera. I guess I will... No, I don't even have regular stripes. Oh well. I think that'll do. It's simple, but it's effective. Yeah, that'll do. We've got ourselves a car, and it looks like that. So yeah, that's all for me now, guys. And we'll see you next time I do something. Hopefully I can... Well, what I'll do is I'll see if I can get to work on doing some more stuff for my review, but like more screen capping. But other than that, I'll see you guys later.